mission here in New Delhi, the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, provides support to the Tibetan people, and we do that around the world as well. And we encourage the PRC to engage in negotiations directly with the Dalai Lama or his representatives without preconditions. We continue to call for those direct talks, and we're open to creative solutions. Our government talks with those here, talks with the Central Tibetan Administration on ways that we can perhaps come up with creative ways to start these direct talks. I'm here in Dharamshala to meet with members of the media that are based here, both Indian and Tibetan, here as part of a regular contact that the U.S. Embassy has with the Tibetan people to learn how we can continue our strong support for the Tibetan community.
We can see recently the Dalai Lama spent great time in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the leaders, U.S. leaders that met him? So he said what was doing?
Yeah, so I can't speak for his entire schedule, and I know that he had a private schedule in the United States. But while he was there, he met with the Special Coordinator for Tibet Issues from the U.S. government. Her name is Zaya, as well as a Senior Director from the National Security Council that covers democracy and human rights. They had that meeting on August 21st in New York, and in that meeting, our Special Tibet Coordinator, Zaya, reiterated a message from the U.S. government that we support the human rights of the Tibetan people, as well as continue our efforts to preserve the historical, cultural, linguistic, and religious heritage that is distinct to Tibet and the Tibetan people. She also conveyed a message from President Biden to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, wishing him a swift recovery and that continued good health after his surgery in the United States.
We know that the United States have also come on for Tibetans. So
Yes.
How this actually work? How this will work?
And what next after the Biden signed it into law?
Yeah.
So now what next? How the US is pursuing it now?
Right. Yeah. So the act, as you know, was passed by Congress in June of this year and then signed into law by President Biden in July. I can't speak on behalf of Congress, but on behalf of the administration and on behalf of President Biden, he signed the act into law because we agree with the sentiment of the law that it is there to protect the human rights of the Tibetan people, and it reaffirms, as I said, our commitment to the distinct historical, cultural, linguistic, and religious heritage of the Tibetan people. The law also discusses Tibet as a political entity. It's been long-standing policy of the United States and Tibet. It has been long-standing policy of the United States, and the President reiterated that the United States government does still see the Tibet Autonomous Region and other Tibetan areas of the People's Republic of China as a part of the People's Republic of China. That doesn't change anything from our policy, and that's something that the president does control, how we determine what international borders are. However, I think the next steps are what we have been encouraging for a long time, which is a direct negotiation between the PRC and the Dalai Lama or his representatives. It's been 13 years since there have been these direct negotiations, and we encourage the PRC to engage in negotiations directly with the Dalai Lama or his representatives without preconditions. So the Resolve Act describes U.S. position, and it is something that we are continuing to carry out. Our mission here in New Delhi, the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, provides support to the Tibetan people, and we do that around the world as well. And so this has been something that is long-standing, and we are continuing to do that. And part of my visit here is to understand how best can the U.S. government support the Tibetan people.
Now, after the law was passed, how U.S. is going to push for the resumption of talks between the PRC and the representatives of this one?
Yes, we continue to call for those direct talks, and we're open to creative solutions. Our government talks with those here, talks with the Central Tibetan Administration on ways that we can perhaps come up with creative ways to start these direct talks. We again would really like to see these talks start directly without any preconditions as soon as possible.